This might be the biggest investment opportunity of the decade, and almost nobody's looking at the right part of it. Everyone's stuck on one question: is AI a bubble, real demand, or hype? Here's the part they're missing. Bubble or not, the boom can only grow as fast as its slowest physical part, the one thing nobody can make enough of. And a handful of companies control those parts. That's what this channel is about, not the hype, the physical choke points underneath it. The few companies that own them, and how that turns into one of the clearest setups in the market. Because here's what most people miss. The hardest bottleneck in AI isn't making the chips anymore. It's three things sitting around the chip. And the last one might be the tightest squeeze in the whole industry. Let me show you all three. Quick framing first. It's the whole idea. Software scales for free. You write it once, you copy it a billion times, it costs nothing. But AI doesn't run on software alone. It runs on physical things. Chips, the substrates under them, the memory beside them, and the power feeding all of it. Physical things don't scale for free. They take years to build and billions to expand. So when demand goes vertical and one of these layers can't keep up, that's a bottleneck. That's where the pressure goes, and that's where the money goes too. Three of them are binding right now. First power, then substrates, then memory. Start with the most physical one of all, electricity. AI data centers need an enormous amount of power, and you can't just plug into the grid. New connections take years. So the big players increasingly generate their own power on site. The workhorse for that is the heavy-duty gas turbine, and three companies build almost all of them. GE Vernova, Siemens Energy, Mitsubishi. Together they own more than 70% of the total gas turbine supply. In 2022, this market was dead. Siemens' own North America chief said it straight. Gas turbines were dead in 2022. Then AI happened. Orders didn't just grow, they nearly doubled in a single year, to over 800 turbines in 2025. But the factories didn't double. You can't double a turbine factory in a year, so the weight explodes. Order a turbine today, and on average it won't run until around 2031. The slots are booked to the end of the decade, and you can't shortcut it. A turbine is a massive piece of hardware. It takes years to build. For anyone, there's no software fix. The constraint is just real. That's bottleneck 1. 3 suppliers, demand doubling. A line out the door that runs to 2030. Bottleneck 2, substrates. Bottleneck 2, almost nobody talks about. And it comes down to one very unlikely company. Every high-end AI chip sits on a substrate. Think of it as the base the chip is built onto. And that substrate is made from a special insulating film. The film has a name. ABF, Ajinomoto buildup film. And Ajinomoto controls over 95% of it. A material every advanced chip on Earth depends on. 95% from one company. Here's why that's a hard bottleneck, not just a quirky fact. They make this film at 2 plants, both in Japan. The next plant won't come online until around 2032. So Ajinomoto announced a 30% price hike, starting in the second half of 2026. And the buyers could do nothing. There's no second supplier to switch to. When you own 95% of something nobody else can make, the price hike just sticks. That's the bottleneck. One company, one material, no alternative. Bottleneck 3, memory. Bottleneck 3 sits right next to the chip. One kind in particular, HBM. High bandwidth memory. Here's why it matters. A modern AI chip calculates far faster than normal memory can feed it. So the chip sits there starved, waiting. HBM fixes that. It stacks memory in layers right next to the processor, fast enough to keep the chip busy. Without it, the most expensive accelerator in the world crawls. Every serious AI chip needs it, and 3 suppliers dominate it. SK Hynix leads with around 60%. Micron and Samsung split most of the rest, roughly 20% each. Now the scarcity. On their own earnings call, SK Hynix said they're sold out, not low, sold out. Their whole capacity for the year gone. And it's not just them, every supplier is sold out all through 2026, with shortages running into 2027. But the best part is why it's so scarce. This is the detail that makes it click. To make a given amount of HBM, you burn about 3 times the wafer space of normal memory at the same node. That's from Micron's own disclosure, and the next generation HBM4 pushes it toward 4 times. Think about what that means. Every HBM chip a factory makes is several normal chips it doesn't. So the memory makers are eating their own capacity to feed AI. The shortage isn't temporary, it's built into the product. That's bottleneck 3. 3 suppliers. Sold out for 2 years. And a product that devours the very capacity needed to make it. Conviction. So step back. Look at the 3 together. Power, substrates, memory, different layers, different companies. But the same shape every time. A physical constraint that can't expand fast. A handful of players sitting on it. And demand flooding in faster than supply can grow. And notice what that does. In all 3, the company holding the constraint raises prices. Their revenue and margin go up, and the buyers pay. Because there's nowhere else to go. That's the whole approach of this channel. I find these choke points the physical limits in the AI build-out that can't expand fast. Then I work out who controls them, and whether that control is durable enough to matter. This isn't theoretical for me. I hold positions across more than 10 of these. Not advice, just how I think. And these 3 are just the start. There's a whole map of these bottlenecks, power transformers, the packaging layer, cooling, optical networking. I'm working through them one at a time. So tell me in the comments, which bottleneck do you want next?